Good morning, YouTubers. Welcome back to my channel, the Virginia Bushcrafter. And as you know, the motto of this channel is learn and practice bushcrafting, prepping, and survival skills. So guys, I'm going back to a different location just to practice. And this is just a view, or part of the view of my location of where I'm heading. So today I'm going to be focusing on an Adirondack Tarp Shelter. This is the first time I have attempted this shelter, so it's going to be interesting. So when I get to my campsite, I'm going to start setting up and get right back with you. Hey YouTubers, hey, I'm at my location, I'm at my campsite, and today, as I mentioned before, I am going to be constructing a new configuration that I've only learned about. It is called the Adirondack Tarp Shelter. So I have the tarp spread out on the ground, and the configuration that is going to be constructed on. I've already set up a ridge line for the tarp. So I'm going to go through this step by step with you, and I hope you enjoy it. All right, guys, the first thing that I'm going to do is go to grommet number 3. This is grommet 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to put the prusik knot into the grommet, add a toggle, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, third grommet. Insert the prusik knot into the grommet. Put the toggle in and tighten the tarp. That is the very first portion of constructing an Adirondack Tarp Shelter. Now I'm going to take you to the back side. All right, guys, I am at the back of the tarp. I'm going to go to the third grommet. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to stake it in. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. One, two, three. Third grommet. So guys, let me show you what it looks like so far. From the front, as you can see, here's a prusik knot with a toggle on one side and the same thing on the other. And as you can see how it's starting to form, this is going to give me a lot of room. So I'm going to continue with the sides, and it will almost be done. Okay, and I'm now going to stake down the walls. That wall is now staked in, and now I'm going to go to the other side and stake the other one in. All right, let me give you the progress. It's been very quick. And again, this is my first time. So let me just show you the number of stakes I have used, which is only 4. There's 1/10 stake on the left wall. Another 10 stake on the right wall. A rear 10 stake on the right side, and another 10 stake on the right side. So what I'm going to do now is take this portion and tuck it up underneath the tarp so that I will have a floor. How do you like it so far for a first timer? All right, this is the floor of the inside of the tarp shelter, Adirondack Tarp Shelter. Now you may say that there's a lot more room to be had. So what I'm going to do is go to the rear and pull out the back. I'm going to do this by utilizing this grommet and this tree. We would then see the different or the additional amount of room. The Adirondack Tarp Shelter is almost complete. But as I always say, learn and practice. Now, what I've had to do is add an additional 2 tarp stakes, just to give me a little bit additional room. So as you can see from the inside, there's a lot of room, but I have an apron here that I can fold back over if I choose to. That will allow me to have a nice long fire right here. Now, what I've also done is add 2 additional stakes. 1 stake here and 1 stake on the other side. And as you can see, there is a ridge line from the tarp to a tree. So what I am going to do now is carve out 2 additional stakes. 1 to secure the floor grommet and 1 to secure the apron. So let's find us some material to make some stakes, tent stakes. All right, guys, as I mentioned, I have to make 2 additional tent stakes. So I'm going to do that with a multi-tool saw. This is one of the good cutting tools. So let me put you in focus here. And start this process of making tent pegs or tent stakes. Now I am using this saw because of what reason? Because I want a precise length. Now I would just cut off a portion of this one. So that would suffice, and I'm just going to take a Scandinavian knife and just make a point. When you're in the bush, you will not find the perfect shape of wood. So that's that. And now I'm going to make a quick notch. I'm going to saw this way. I'm going to saw into the form of an X. And I can just rock this. Oh, kind of messed that one up, but I would do it on the next one. I said, guys, you will not find the perfect shape of wood that you need in the bush. So that's going to be the hook on the tent peg. I'll just make another one here. Let's see if I can just rock it with the knife. All right, I have my 2 tent stake pegs. I'm going to use these, and I'll show you how I'm using them. So let's just take another look at the Adirondack Tarp Shelter. All right, so let's go ahead and complete this, and then we'll sit down and have a chat. Well, YouTubers, my shelter is complete. And again, this is just why I say learn and practice. Because as you see, sometimes just through other media, it's very simple to make shelters. But once you get in the bush and make that shelter, you will always run into something that you did not anticipate. Today, I think the largest thing I anticipated was only bringing 6 tent pegs or tent stakes. So I had to make 2 other ones, which I've made them before, but it's just when you anticipate it, or you did not anticipate having to make tent stakes. But it's all great, it's all fantastic. It's just increasing your skills. And so what I want to do now is actually show you the Adirondack Tarp Shelter. This is it from a distance. Again, this is the back of the shelter. 6 tent stakes. This is the back of it. See, I did make more room by pulling the back out, which it is designed to do so, with a ridge line that goes to a tree. And here again, part of nature, knowing how to secure knots. A knot there, and going to the other side, the other 3 tent stakes. And as you can see, this is my rucksack. I call this my closet. I have quite a few things hanging on here. As you know, I always bring solar pack generators, battery packs. But this is what I've done so far, and it's fun. It's a great learning experience. Tools that I have had to use is just a multi-tool, which assisted me in making the tent pegs, as well as a Coleman saw and a cold steel survival knife, which is Scandinavian grind, and a shovel, just to clean out the area here. But as you can see from the inside, I have a floor here. Now, if I were to stay here all night, I would actually put this bedroll underneath that to take any precautions of puncturing holes and so forth. What I've done to this tarp, if you notice, there is some tape. When I make different configurations, that is where the walking stick will go. This is just as extra support. But this gives me a lot of room. I have some floor in here. I can actually relax. I can sit here, have a decent fire to either to this side or that side. But again, guys, I look at bushcrafting, prepping, and survival skills as being 4 components. You got to have the shelter. You have to have water. you have to have food and you have to have fire. Now I consider each part of bushcrafting as a tree trunk. For example, with shelter, the first thing you're going to have is the clothes that are on you according to the weather, and you're going to have a shelter, something to sleep under, something to sleep in, and something to sleep on. And of course, your water. You're going to have to bring sufficient water or be in an area that you can source, filter, and purify that water. And of course, you're going to bring enough food for the length of time you anticipate being there. But once you are halfway or maybe 2/3 complete with your food, it is time to forage food if you're going to be there for more than a day. And of course, I don't see how you can do it without having a fire, whether it's butane, but I prefer all natural materials. But again, you know, with bushcrafting, prepping, and survival skills, when you come out to the bush, you're prepping. You're going to prep when you harvest wood. You're going to prep when you process that wood, because you're prepping for a fire. You're prepping to stay a distance, quite a long distance or so forth. You're going to have things like your candle, which is your headlight, your cutting tools, your canteen, which is your containers, your fire kit, combustible, numerous things. So what I'm trying to do is categorize each thing as a tree trunk. There's a lot of branches on shelter. There's a lot of branches with water, branches on the tree trunk of food, and branches on the tree trunk of fire. But I just wanted to let you guys know I'm just out here. I'm just practicing. It takes practice to really be proficient. Again, as I said, I've never set up an Adirondack Tarp Shelter. I've watched it on YouTube. I've done it many times. But as they always say, practice it before you get in the bush. And my backyard was it's not large enough to allow me to do this. So I really basically had it memorized. But even when you have it memorized, there are adjustments that you have to make. So I think I've done that successfully. So what I'm going to do now is continue to practice, and it's going to be firecraft. So guys, come on, join me. Let's go harvest some wood. I'm not going to be here very long. I don't need that much wood. I just need wood to make some coffee, and some water to heat up an MRE. So let's start harvesting and processing some wood. It's a lot of wood out here. Really don't have to harvest much. There's a lot of wood near me. So let's get started. Okay, this is my fuel for my fire. It's time to gather kindling. Hey guys, I am getting ready to make a fire. And again, I am just out here trying new things. So something that you guys may not have seen before is that I use a staff walker a lot. As you can see, this is the knife portion, and it is about 6 feet long. But it also comes with a sheath, and this sheath has a ferrocerium rod, which I've never actually used it to start a fire. Well, not in the bush anyway. So I'm going to do that today. So I'm using cotton balls with Vaseline, and I'm just going to see how well this works. There we go, that quick. And so let me put this over here. Now, what I do have are some shavings. Process some kindling, and here's some fuel with larger fuel right here. So I'm going to put these shavings on. And I'm going to let that build up. So while that is building up, again, fire, one of the tree trunks, ferrocerium rod. This is the first time I have ever used it. And this ferrocerium rod goes in the holster or sheath. It goes into the sheath, and the sheath goes on top, goes into so let's see, this is it completely. But when I'm in the bush, I don't keep the sheath on there. So I have used it to start a fire, and the fire is not going to be a large fire. I'm just going to make some coffee, something quick to eat. But the main objective today was to set up the a shelter I've never done before, which is the Adirondack Shelter. So I'm going to build this fire up, and then we are going to have us a bite to eat. All right, guys, I have the fire going now. I have 2 cups of water boiling, and my lunch today is going to be meal number 13, menu 13, cheese tortellini and tomato sauce. So this is the first time I've had this particular MRE, first time I ever had it. So let me just open it and put you in focus, and let's see what's actually in here. Well, it's a reusable seal. Well, shall we? So we actually have the cheese tortellini right here. We have the sleeve that this would go into. We have some trail mix recovery with pretzels. Chocolate spread peanut butter. Yeah, chocolate peanut butter spread. Some crackers. We have some carbonated electrolytes beverage powder, which is lemon lime. Dry roasted peanuts. And of course, a spoon. Tabasco. This is the stove in and of itself, and these are the condiments. Now, of course, I am not going to eat all of this in one setting. That is for sure. The only thing I'm going to have today is maybe the trail mix, but it would only be today. Oh, my water spill. All right, so I am going to put what I'm not going to eat back into the bag and save it for a later time. But some of my water, my nesting cup kind of tilted over. Did not lose very much water at all. So that's part of being out in the bush. So guys, again, this is just basically practicing and learning. Major goal was to set up the Adirondack shelter, tarp tent. That was done successfully. Now I'm just going to have a meal. Then I'll have some coffee and go from there. But guys, I strongly encourage you, get out in the bush and just try it. Start in your backyard. Go to the bush. You don't have to go very far. As long as you can make a fire, put up a tarp, build a debris shelter, have water, food. It's a great exercise. So I'm waiting for this water to boil, get a rolling boil. I'll have me a meal, and then we'll continue our chat. Hey guys, I just wanted to show you again the Adirondack Tarp Shelter. I think this is a great shelter. I would suggest that if you get the chance, try it. You will be covered from the elements, the weather elements, from both sides and the back, as well as the front. Now, in addition to the front, which I will demonstrate in the future, that you can put another. Yeah, I was just saying before I had to switch batteries is that you can actually put another tarp from here to the other side and have it come down in front of you, and you can be somewhat enclosed. But this, I think, is a great shelter. I would suggest any bushcrafter or camper try it. It is a 10 by 10 tarp. It is from Texas Bushcraft, and I'm not sponsored by them. But as you can see in the back, I have a ridge line to open the back to give me more space. This is the side of it. And the apron, here's a ridge line that goes to a tent peg that I had to make. Now, when learning how to do this, I saw there was only 4 tent stakes utilized, 4 on the tarp and 1 for such purpose. But actually for me, 6 on the top worked better because I was able, or I am able, to open the tarp up more. So I used 6 tent stakes on the tarp itself, the shelter itself, and 1 right here. But guys, this is just part of bushcrafting, prepping, and survival skills. When you come into the bush to bushcraft, you're going to have to provide again your shelter. That's part of bushcrafting because you are going to construct your shelter, whether it's a tent, tarp, or natural debris. You definitely have to be concerned with water because we've heard many times we can go 3 days without water. Well, in the bush, I just don't think anyone would be very comfortable after 24 hours without water. So being able to source water and again, filter and purify your water, whether it's with aqua tablets or anything. And the next thing is having sufficient food, again, so important, as well as being able to make and sustain a fire. Now I'm letting this fire go out because I'm going to be leaving shortly, but I just wanted to show you guys the Adirondack Tarp Shelter. So I'm going to pack up, I'm going to trek out, and I'm going to see you guys right before I do so. Well, it is a rainy day and I am heading out of the bush. So remember guys, like father and son, mother and daughter, nature and human, we're all akin in some form or fashion. Get out in the bush and have some fun. This is the Virginia Bushcrafter. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you.